Hello and welcome to Career 101. I'm Matthew. Thanks for joining me. As you may know, Career 101 is the place to come and learn tips and techniques and information to help you figure out and start your career. So today I'm going to talk about interviewing, specifically the follow-up after the interview. The interview has happened. You've done the research in advance. The interview has happened. You're all done. You breathe a sigh of relief. What happens next? So I'm going to talk about the follow-up. So I'll share my screen and we will get started. So following up is absolutely key. And by that I mean saying thank you. There's a couple different ways to do it, but the most important is to make it unique and individualized. If you've interviewed with 4 different people, you want to send 4 different unique thank you notes. And that can be an email or a handwritten note. There's really pros and cons. You kind of got to find your style. If you do an email, you give the person you're sending it to the opportunity to reply and follow up with you. If you do a handwritten note, maybe you distinguish yourself a little bit. Right now in 2022, many people are working from home for periods of time. So I personally would recommend the email approach, but regardless of what format you use, you want to make it unique and individualized. You don't want to, if you met with 4 people, you don't want to send a group email to those 4 people. You might want to say to each individual, thank you for meeting with me. I enjoyed our session. I particularly liked talking about something specific you two discussed, and thanks for the advice on XYZ, and I'm going to take this action, and I look forward to continuing the conversation. And then you reply with your name and ideally your email address and your phone number right below that. So thank you notes, super important. They often mean the tipping point in which candidate someone would select. Next, be persistent and patient. This is really going to be with whoever is supposed to follow up with you. That could be the HR lead, or it could be the hiring manager. But you want to try to balance, and this is more art than science, you want to balance between being persistent and being patient. That means you're going to follow up after the interview. You're going to ask about the timeline. You're going to ask if there's anything else you can do to help them understand if you're the best qualified. It might be, hey, I'm happy to do a small project to help demonstrate the quality of my work. I'm happy to give you references. And if you're in college, that might just be a teacher, or it might be someone you've interned with. And also, if you get a no, and we're all going to get lots of no's as we search for jobs, be gracious. Even send a follow-up email to ideally each person you interviewed with. Hey, I know it didn't work out for me, but I appreciate the process of meeting with you. It was a good learning experience for me. If things ever change, I'd still like to consider this company. Follow-up is the key. I hate it when I've met with someone and they don't send a follow-up email, because again, all these things are demonstrating to the person you're meeting with and the company you're meeting with what you're all about. And if you're not taking notes during an interview, as I discussed in one of the interviewing sections, you're demonstrating that you're not going to do that in meetings. If you're not following up, and especially if you're doing a sales role interview, you're showing that you don't follow up with people. So make sure you set a good impression. Check out my other videos on interviewing. Hope this has been helpful and look forward to seeing you in another session. Thanks.